So, my dear parishioners, you must have seen my yesterday a video that I produced, and I was talking to you. But fortunately, it reached into the hand of a professor of theology, or rather a professor of Christology. And so when he watched it, though he liked it, he said this is incomplete. And so therefore, I felt like doing something more today. Maybe that he expected that I'll give some biblical approach to this COVID-19. And so my dear brothers and sisters, today I would like to tell you that we as Christians, because I was trying to identify you as Christians. Now why do I say that you are Christians? Mainly because you have a special grace. You are baptized and you are sanctified. You are given confirmation. And so that has strengthened you with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Not only that, but you consume the Eucharist. And Eucharist is the one that will shape you and mold you. And it helps you to die for someone who needs salvation. And so therefore, we as Christians are so different from the others. Now in order to say that, very often when we are indifferent, we are not even concerned. Sometimes we don't even bother about what people do and all, or those who are sick with COVID. We are at the most, sympathetic to some degree. But I would like to tell you that please do not behave like Cain in the Old Testament, in the first book of Genesis. Now when he killed his own brother, and then God asked him, "Where are you? Where is your brother?" And he asked a question, "Am I my brother's keeper?" My dear brothers and sisters, he became arrogant. He did not felt shy or felt sorry that he killed his brother. Now God was telling him, "I have given you life, and I had given life for your brother. You're supposed to save the life and promote that life. You cannot keep life." And so my dear brothers and sisters, when we mingle among people without sanitization and without mask or without social distancing, we do not care for that person. And if that person is affected because of me, I have killed that person. And how can I ask that question to Jesus? Am I my brother's keeper? My dear brothers and sisters, we as Christians should remember that this is what we are called to. Not only to save life, but to promote life. Therefore, we have so many Christians in the world who are pro-life. And in that pro-life movement, we must get ourselves involved. I remember some years back, we had some international conference in Bombay. And I attended that in one of the hotels in Juhu. And I felt it is so obligatory that we must all join such organizations and help people to live better life. Whether they are infants or whether they are senior citizens, life has to be respected. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, I would like to share here that we as Christians are called out to share life. Now here one thing is that we should not be backward and do not be anxious or have fear or do not be scared of things. Rather, you are given all arms and ammunitions. That is your mask, your sanitization, your social distancing. And so therefore during this COVID time, we wear all this and we go out on the battlefield to fight against COVID. Certainly I know that we all people pray. We all know that God should do something about it. But what about our role in such cases? Now, my dear brothers and sisters, I would also like to tell you, in the case of, for example, Jesus calming the sea. Now, we have this particular example probably in 2 or 3 Gospels. But take more in Gospel of Matthew chapter 8, 23 onwards. And if you see that Jesus is there, and then apostles are scared, we are dying. So they go and wake up Jesus. And Jesus said, why are you afraid? Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, we should not be afraid, but we must go and wake up Jesus and know the power of God, that God can stop. So that is your faith. And so have a deep prayer. May I really assimilate myself in the feeling and power of God and say that I pray with the depth of my heart and pray to God. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, I want to tell you that life in that boat is very important. So get into the boat, invite Jesus, and see that we experience that calm and coolness in the presence of God. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, there are times, and especially I want to tell my Christian doctors, now we are called to serve. Jesus said, I have come that not to be served, but to serve others and to die myself as an expiation for the sins of all. So let the doctors not take that opportunity like other doctors who would exploit the patients. No. We are called to serve and dedicate ourselves. We should be very considerate and see who the person is, what he can afford, and can I give some free services. There are doctors who are minting money on these issues, which I don't want to talk about. But as Christian doctors, I feel responsible that all our Christian doctors should help the patients to recover fast. Now there are cases, for example, they were just declared dead because of COVID, just at the last minute of their death. They may be affected by many other reasons, but they just say COVID and then it seems they have some special favors. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, in the similar things that we also have nurses who reach out, and these nurses also are called to serve. And I'm very proud of my nurses, though some of them were affected. They were not frightened. And you Christian nurses, you have done a wonderful job, at least in the city of Bombay. And I really am proud of you, because it's a great thing that you all serve by taking risk. So risk is involved. Let us not run away from such risk. And I'm sure that we are called to serve, and so therefore not running away. So maybe we are not allowed to go into the crowd unnecessarily. Why do we simply extend the crowd? We should be saying that, okay, people are there, it is dangerous to go there, and so I should be aloof. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, I'd just like to tell you all that Jesus was trying to die for the others. And when he was dying, he also saved all those people who needed to be saved. So even if you are dying, pray for all those and see what you can do to help others. And so, my dear friends, the greatest commandment of Jesus is to love your neighbor, love even your enemies. So when you know that you may have something of COVID within you, how can you go among people, and how can you just take chances to mingle among people? But be aloof. And by being aloof, by keeping the distance, by putting your mask and sanitizers, that you can also love your neighbor. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, there are times when some people were highly criticized and they were blamed and they were in a way ostracized because they had COVID. Is that the love of your neighbor? And so, my dear brothers and sisters, remember what Jesus wants to tell you. Who's my neighbor? And what example he has given, so we can always practice effectively.